Well, for more on this conflict, we're joined now by Lawrence Brewers, who's the Caucasus Programme Director at Conciliation Resources. Thank you very much for your time. So they had a 10-hour meeting that brought this ceasefire, which already appears just hours later to completely have stalled. Lawrence, do you have any faith or any confidence in the agreement that they came to?
Well, the four-point agreement called for a ceasefire, but it also reaffirmed the Minsk group negotiation format. That may need more elaboration because Russia clearly doesn't have the same leverage that it had 4 years ago. What's interesting is that the parties are still saying that they are willing to go back to the negotiating table, but I think we're in a new situation where for the first time in many years, Azerbaijan feels it has a military advantage. It has Turkish backing to press that advantage. And so it's quite hard to see how the parties can be brought back into a political process.
I mean, if the truce had held, this would have been a bit of a diplomatic coup for Russia, as you just sort of hinted at. To what extent are these outside players, Turkey and Russia, actually determining the process?
Well, as I said, I think Russia doesn't have the same kind of influence that it has had in the past. Turkey's entry into the conflict is a major new factor, giving Azerbaijan more confidence, more capability to resist Russian brokerage on terms that it doesn't particularly like. But what's really missing from the situation is more active entry and lobbying for stabilization from the third co-chair of the Minsk group, the United States. And we need a lot more action from European states to support humanitarian relief and a return to the negotiating table. This is a crisis that cannot be ignored.
So you think actually to engineer some sort of agreement, or dare I say even peace, it's going to take the presence of other bigger international bodies to intervene?
Absolutely. I think the risk here is of a kind of a geopolitical pact between Turkey and Russia. Russia doesn't particularly want that, but that would be a very top-down process. That's not going to address the local concerns about security, voice, representation. We need a broader international coalition to bring leverage, to bring commitment to a long-term solution to this conflict.
Do you think that's actually going to happen?
Well, I think that's the problem, is that there is a lack of focus. This conflict has come at a time of incredible distraction with the pandemic, with the US elections, protests in Belarus. But we already have, as your report indicated, a humanitarian crisis. This is aggravating the pandemic, which has hit both countries hard, and winter is coming. So we really will face a major humanitarian crisis right here in Europe in the coming weeks.